Well, hey, LTD family, welcome back for another episode of the Morning Huddle. It's the week of February 16th through the 22nd. I'm Sam.
I'm Jaquin.
And we're excited to jump into another week of February with you. And hey, we're still on the energy bus with John Gordon. And today we're talking a little bit about choosing your response. And in the book, The Energy Bus, John Gordon really emphasizes that we might not be able to control every situation, but we do have control over our response. And that challenge and stress and all of these unexpected issues that are certain to happen in the workplace, they're always an opportunity to decide, am I going to react or am I going to respond in this situation? And that our response, especially in those difficult moments, is what really shapes the experience for everyone around us. So our question for you this week, Jaquin, when challenges come up, how can our response influence the energy of the team or the outcome of any situation?
I want to give two examples of the response. So, first example is a guest, like how when we respond to a guest complaint, how we handle like a really irate guest. So, just recently, I have encountered a very, very special guest. So, long story short, I was holding a micros, like a receipt from the restaurant, and she was mad that she has to pay for it. So she grabbed it from my hand, tore it apart, and then crumpled it and threw it back at me.
Mm.
And I said to her, Miss Neubauer, don't do that. And that was it. Here's the receipt. Here's the evidence.
He
Right here.
keeps the
I
receipts,
taped
guys.
it up. I taped it up for evidence and for chargeback purposes. We want to
Yes,
keep
of
our
course.
chargebacks low. Um, and I didn't realize, I was deep inside me. I was upset, naturally.
Mhm.
Um, but then our accounting person was telling a story to one of the, I think it was our sales manager. She was saying, "Oh yeah," and then Jaquin said, "Miss Neubauer, don't do that." I didn't realize my team was actually listening. They were watching.
Mhm.
See how
Mhm.
powerful that is?
Yeah.
Like, I forgot what I said,
Yep.
but you see, people are watching. My team is always watching to what I do. So
Mhm.
it is very powerful, like how we maintain our composure, not
Mhm.
only to our guests, not just for the benefit of how the guests would react, but also how our team is going to copy us. Like how are we going to handle difficult situation? So that's one.
Yep.
Now, my example number two is how we handle our internal guest.
Mhm.
So when I first started at the Westin, I started at the Westin as the assistant GM,
Mhm.
and I would always follow my GM, Fletcher. So Fletcher is not only the GM for the Westin, but he was also the regional manager for all four hotels: the Westin, the Sheraton, Aloft, and the Element.
Mhm.
So I really respect Fletcher.
Yes.
And we were in one meeting, and there was this one guy who was just so rude to Fletcher and borderline very disrespectful. And we were in a meeting in front of everyone. So Fletcher didn't say anything. He kind of just like, okay. And then when the meeting was over, I asked him, like, Fletcher, why would you let somebody like this guy talk to you that way? That was so disrespectful.
Mhm.
And he said to me, kid, don't worry about it, that's not important. I will have a conversation with him in private. And that was the end of it.
That was
He
the end of
said,
it.
in your position, you want to maintain peace in all of your meetings and your conversation.
Mhm.
And that happened to me personally when I took over this hotel. We're the new LTD hotel, and there's managers here, they've been here forever. And I had one particular manager that will challenge me, also borderline disrespect me in front of everybody. I didn't say a thing. I just let it be, and we'll have a separate conversation. You just have to swallow your ego, and you don't need to fight back in front of everybody to prove who you are. It's better to be the bigger person and
Mhm.
just keep the peace within your team. And that was a very good lesson that I learned and that I practice every day.
Yeah, I love both of those examples because they talk about how we get the opportunity to influence the energy not only for our guests but also for, like you said, our internal guests,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just incredibly important. We often talk about, as parents, or as people, you hear like little eyes are watching, but
Mm-hmm.
it's everyone is watching, and we it's so important. We talk about how everyone is a leader, and it's because leadership is influence,
Yes.
and you as a leader, you have so much influence
Mm-hmm.
on how people respond in these types of situations. You're really setting the standard, the expectation for, hey, around here, when you're on our team, this is how we respond to
Right.
these situations. And so, just really, really great. And I love the thought of humility in those moments and setting aside our ego for
Mm-hmm.
the greater good to maintain that positive energy. It still
Mm-hmm.
needs to be addressed.
Address
Right? Yeah,
privately,
no
of
one's
course.
suggesting that, but it's being done with intention and not in reaction to, right?
Correct.
So that's really great.
Mhm.
And I also kind of love this thought about our tone, our facial expressions, our body language, all of that, because just because we're not saying it with our mouth
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily mean that we're not communicating something. So those nonverbal cues are oftentimes, I know for a lot of ladies, oftentimes maybe probably saying more than our words are. So
That's
again,
real.
when we're encountering those stressful moments, not only are we maintaining composure, and refraining, and being intentional about the words we're using, but we're also being intentional about what our body language is communicating as well. So that's our challenge for you this week. I'm sure that we are going to run into an opportunity to maintain composure and to respond instead of react in a situation. So love to learn a little bit more about maintaining positive energy. And talking about positive energy, did you know February 17th is the National Random Acts of Kindness Day? I love the idea of paying it
Mhm.
forward. So just as a reminder, if you've got an opportunity to pay it forward, and to spread a little kindness around, February 17th is the day to do it. A super fun challenge for all of us to do. And talking about kindness and celebrations, we've got some great birthdays to celebrate coming up. We'll start with February 16th. We have Shannon at the Spring Hill Suites Norfolk and Haven at the Delta Chesapeake. Happy birthday.
On the 18th, we got Janaea from Super Chicks. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. On February 19th, we have Miss Carla at the Aloft Chesapeake and Patrick at the Holiday Inn Newport News. Happy birthday.
On the 20th, we got Anita from Spring Hill Suites. And February the 21st, we got Zariana at the Holiday Inn. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you guys. And we've got some big work anniversaries coming up. February 16th, we have Dwayne celebrating 3 years of service at the Holiday Inn Newport News, and Mr. Warren celebrating 28 years at the Doubletree Columbia. Congratulations and thank you to you both.
On the 17th, we got Brenda celebrating 4 years at the Aloft Chesapeake, and Masa celebrating 21 years here at the Doubletree.
Congratulations, you guys. On the 21st, we have 2 years of service from Brannon at the Super Chicks in Chesapeake. Congratulations.
22nd, we got Steven celebrating 1 year at the Residence Inn. Congratulations.
Congratulations. And now we get to celebrate our star player of the week. And we're so excited for the opportunity to highlight Olga, our room attendant at the Delta Chesapeake.
Olga consistently demonstrates exceptional dedication and positive attitude in her role. Recently, while a guest was checking in into the seventh floor with significant amount of luggage, Olga went above and beyond by assisting the guests to ensure they were settled comfortably and safely. Shortly after, when a glass was accidentally broken in the room, Olga immediately took action to carefully clean up the broken glass, prioritizing the guest safety and preventing any potential injury. Olga's attentiveness, proactive approach, and willingness to go beyond her regular duties reflect her outstanding work ethic and commitment to delivering exceptional guest experience. Her actions not only created a stress-free and welcoming environment for the guests, but also exemplify the star values we strive to uphold every day. Thank you, Olga, for your professionalism, care, and dedication. And this was submitted by Latrice Taylor, Executive Housekeeper at the Delta Chesapeake.
So used to saying Doubletree, Delta Chesapeake, Olga.
Mhm.
We are so thankful for your contributions, and really are so grateful for that proactive approach, not only with the luggage, but certainly when we have a situation where
Mhm.
guest safety is at risk. So thank you so much for going above and beyond in those scenarios. And Latrice, thank you so much for taking the time
Mhm.
to nominate Olga so we get to share her story and show everyone what we know is our expectations of beyond good and perfect, exceptional guest service. So, Olga, thank you so much for all that you're doing there at the Delta Chesapeake. And Latrice, thank you for taking the time to nominate. And for that, we've got a $50 gift card coming your way. And we are going to wrap up the week with our word of the week in Espanol.
Respuesta.
Response, just what we talked about.
Mhm.
We get to control the energy on that energy bus. We get to respond instead of react with intention, right? So that is our challenge for you this week, to find opportunities to respond, and hopefully maybe even share some kindness with our National Acts, Random Acts of Kindness Day on the 17th. Hey, we hope you guys have a wonderful week. Let's lean in.
Get better
Better together.
together.
Thank you guys. Have a great
Bye.
week.